music. I have the cure.
Ooh.
Oh, not that kind of cure. They can't make you better. I mean, they can, but, like, emotionally. No, don't cry. Your tears smell so bad.
25 years have passed since Cole Sprouse was a little kid calling himself Frankenstein in Big Daddy, and now in his 30s, he plays an actual Frankenstein-type character in Lisa Frankenstein. It's one of few new movies I'll be reviewing this week on CJ at the Movies, along with some international pieces with names like Wenders, Juliette, Binochet, and Mads Mikkelsen. I'm Christopher Zweig. Let's take a look. Lisa Frankenstein is a teen horror rom-com that feels like it's been stitched together from parts of Edward Scissorhands, Sweeney Todd, Frankenstein, Beauty and the Beast, Natural Born Killers, Beetlejuice, or Jennifer's Body, and given a late 80s time period, some ticklish humor, and young stars like Kathryn and Cole Sprouse, and yet it all seems silly, mean-spirited, and indulging to the genre.
You hear that? I'm sure it's the girl next door. She's very odd.
Your hand? I can't believe you're here.
Newton plays the goth girl while Sprouse is her Frankenstein, and they go on a killing spree and taking body parts to fix him up, starting with her loathsome stepmother played by Carla Gugino.
Your daughter is a little psycho. I open my glorious home to an ungrateful little... I have an idea. There are bad people out there.
Come on, Lisa. It'll feel good.
That hand is gonna do terrible things.
The movie may be directed by Zelda Williams, who is the daughter of the late Robin Williams, but that doesn't mean Lisa Frankenstein is a comedy masterpiece. In fact, its humor comes to life, and then it dies again. It's almost like that hair cream that Wendell and Wild used to resurrect the dead, but that stuff doesn't last long. Okay, here's another horror movie, but with better taste than Lisa Frankenstein. It's called Out of Darkness, and it's a Stone Age film in which we meet a group of early humans who are all looking for a place to call home. At this moment, they need to find food and shelter to help continue their journey, and campfires are usually the most helpful as their resting ground. Their journey is sidetracked, however, by a demon who takes them out one by one. It either kills them or abducts them. The story doesn't take full advantage of the setup, and it does run for less than 90 minutes, but the performances from the cast, especially by Sophia Oakley-Green as the main heroine, are a revelation. The R rating is ballsy, and the ambiance sets the horror quite well. I've had good reasons for missing out on the American horror film Night Swim, one of them being that the trailers didn't speak to me, and I've made the right decision. I also think I made the right decision on seeing Out of Darkness because the trailer and poster are actually scary, and the overall movie is a reflection on them. Next up, Perfect Days, a Japanese drama from German filmmaker Wim Wenders, who tells a passionate story of the daily life of a cassette-loving janitor played by Koji Yakushu, who won the Best Actor award at the Cannes Film Festival. Among the characters in his life, there's his teenage niece who runs away from home because of her mother's estranged relationship with her uncle. She takes his words of wisdom quite well.
今度は今度。今は今。
今は今。
Perfect Days is another worthy entry in Wender's filmography because of how he presents the main character and his life and how Yakushu is extraordinary as the janitor. It's a somber and quiet film that chooses to make certain issues less irritable than they probably would have been if it was an American film. It's a Japanese film made by a German filmmaker who chooses not to let anyone succumb to formulas, and co-written by him and Takuma Takasaki. It's the kind of movie whose leading character you really want to examine. Next up, The Promised Land, a beguiling Danish drama that stars Mads Mikkelsen, who was last seen, unfortunately, in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, as a Danish officer retiring from the German army who plans to build a property on the uninhabited moors. The Royal Danish Court refuses to fund his preparations, but he intends to use his pension, which isn't enough when it comes to food, supplies, employees, and livestock. The time and place is 1755 Copenhagen.
Gud er kaos. Livet er kaos.
Nej, krig er kaos. Men vinderen er den, som kan finde ud af at kontrollere kaos.
He hires employees in the forms of illegal runaways and brigades to help him build his land. He lives under the rule of the king, not Haldmanor's bratty and evil magistrate played by Simon Bennisberg, who often bribes him to build his land somewhere else and murders a bunch of innocent people to prove a point.
Hold dig væk fra heden. Er det forstået?
Based on the book The Captain and Aunt Barbara, The Promised Land almost plays like an old-fashioned epic with unexpected romances and a villain who has no redemption whatsoever. It's also a history film that has us interested in the story and what was going on during the 18th century on this side of the world. It was directed by Nikolai Arcel, who previously guided Mikkelsen in A Royal Affair, and both these films are complex with an ambiance regarding human nature. Juliette Benoit and Benoit Magimel used to be romantic partners from 1998 to 2003, even having a daughter together and co-starring in The Children of the Century. Their first movie together in less than 25 years, The Taste of Things, is a delicious and yet emotionally complex movie that knows good cooking when it sees it, and vivid characters when it studies them. Benoit is a gifted chef, while Magimel plays her celebrated boss, and they have great chemistry in the kitchen, but not the kind involving marriage.
Nous passons plus de temps ensemble que bien des époux.
Je vous le demande encore, Régine. Marions-nous.
Combien de fois encore allez-vous me poser cette question?
The Taste of Things is a movie that shares its love for cooking and the chefs. Adapting Marcel Rolf's novel for the big screen, writer-director An Hong Trong draws these characters and their troubles without settling for easy story formulas. It's a complex study on how these two people know good cooking and whether or not they were made for each other. Benoit and Magimel are both universally delightful and emotional, and they refuse to succumb to any cliches whatsoever. Okay, recapping this week's new movies, thumbs down for Lisa Frankenstein, thumbs up for Out of Darkness, thumbs way up for Perfect Days, thumbs way up for The Promised Land, and finally, this is a great week for international films, thumbs way up for The Taste of Things. Well, those are the new movies I'm reviewing this week. I'm Christopher Zweig. Stay safe, and I'll see you at the movies. For more amazing content, please like and subscribe to my channels, and please read my reviews at cjatthemovies.com and download the new HD Radio app.